Coming up on KTVH News at 5. Communities continue to clean up following Wednesday's historic windstorm. Plus, Lewis and Clark Public Health announced COVID-19 vaccination clinics for people in Phase 1B next week. We'll give you the details.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 5.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the News at 5. I'm Andy Curtis. Thank you for joining us. Well, work is underway to assess the damage to the roof at the library at MSU Northern after yesterday's windstorm. This video posted to Twitter by Frankie Bignell shows the roof over the main entrance to the library being ripped off. The University Relations Director says metal fasteners on the roof are believed to have failed. Thankfully, no one was inside when the damage happened. Staff on campus noticed the roof was likely about to come off, so they evacuated the building.
School starts next Tuesday for us, and so that gives us a few days to try to, patch it, fix it. Because it's just this entryway area, we think that we should be able to do a very safe temporary patch.
When a patch could be made, how much it will cost, and when the roof could be fully repaired have not been determined just yet. And he knows a thing or two about all that wind we were seeing yesterday and still are seeing in some parts of the state. Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevitz.
Yeah, Andy, watching that video, it's like watching video of a hurricane hit the Gulf Coast or the East Coast. And we did have hurricane force winds across much of the state of Montana. Now, although it's still been a windy day in the western part of the state and the central part of the state here, we've fallen below high wind warning criteria, but still some pretty strong gusts out around Glasgow, further east, Culbertson, Scobie up there near Westby, some gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour, still under a high wind warning there until midnight tonight. Let's take a look at some of those notable gusts. Once again, you can see the wind speeds here. Havre, 72 mile per hour wind speeds, and these are at the observation sites here. There could be higher gusts having occurred in the area. Helena, 81 miles per hour, countless trees down, including the one at the Helena Civic Center. There you can see those wind speeds once again. Great Falls, 77, multiple reports up on the High Line of wind speeds at least 80 miles per hour. I know it's a windy state, but it was an historic wind event, what will likely be called a 1 in every 100, maybe 200 year storm here with the winds. We've got a global pattern change that will result in January acting just like January should. More in the forecast coming up.
Lewis and Clark Public Health announced COVID-19 vaccination clinics for people in Phase 1B next week. The two clinics are for Phase 1B, Tier 1, meaning county residents 70 and older, and healthcare workers included in Phase 1A. Now, the two drive-through clinics will be at the Lewis and Clark County Fairgrounds on Tuesday, January 19th, and Wednesday, January 20th, from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. A maximum of 450 vaccinations will be administered on each day, and people who are eligible to have that procedure done will have to pre-register.
We have approximately 8,700 eligible residents in our community, and we have a limited vaccine supply at this time. So you can imagine having 8,700 people in line and only 450 doses available that day. So we do want to do this as fairly and equitably as possible.
Rocky Mountain Development Council has a call center for seniors looking to sign up. That number is on the bottom of your screen right now, and we have more details about the clinics on our website, ktvh.com. And around 400 additional COVID-19 cases were reported today, bringing the number of active cases to just over 4,700. 6 more deaths have also been reported since last night, bringing that statewide death total to 1,083. Active hospitalizations continue to hover around 200 as of right now. Now, MTN uses a combination of state and local data to provide you with the most up-to-date numbers regarding COVID-19 in our states. And because of that, our numbers may differ from the states. And only about 1/4 of U.S. colleges were able to complete the fall semester without having to go to virtual classes. One of those was Carroll College, and a crew of hardworking custodians made it all possible. MTN's Alexia Aguayo has the story.
Daily routine is a lot like pretty much the normal, like we used to, but you just add some extra steps.
To stay ahead of COVID-19, it takes a lot of spraying, wiping, and taking out the trash to keep the college common areas clean and sanitized. Howard and 15 other custodians at Carroll College worked to refill over 300 bottles of disinfectant and over 100 dispensers for towelettes across campus, as well as handle 15 handheld foam sprayers to clean all surfaces in each building.
You know, I've known from day one that our custodial team is critical to the operation of this college. I really appreciate all the work they do. They have been here from March on through, prepping and cleaning and really trying to create the safest environment we can for our students.
The spring semester is a week away, and Carroll College hopes to continue its streak of in-person learning during the pandemic. Since the start, they have ramped up cleaning efforts, including adding disinfectant and towels to each classroom and meeting space across campus. Keeping the virus at bay is a team effort and involves students, staff, and custodial staff cleaning each space before and after each use.
We have changed shifts a little bit to ensure that we have coverage in buildings as much as possible. And then we have, in certain buildings, shifted the times that things are open to ensure that we have coverage during those times.
And in charge of the coverage is custodians like Howard. Howard looks forward to another clean semester and appreciates and credits the custodial staff.
Nobody ever talks about the custodial, but that's the guy that cleaned the rooms. That's the guy that's doing the hard work. He's up there getting everything ready.
In Helena, I'm Alexi Guile, MTN News.
Students are scheduled to arrive for the spring semester beginning this weekend, and the first day of class begins January 19th. Well, as air traffic starts to recover after the COVID-19 pandemic, Helena Airport leaders hope they'll be able to offer travelers a new destination. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian reports on what they're doing to try and secure some new service.
If Helena Regional Airport leaders get their way, there could eventually be a fourth airline flying out of this terminal. They're seeking a federal grant to help them bring in an American Airlines flight from Helena to Phoenix.
Very exciting, and so of course you get an opportunity like that, you have to really run with it.
Airport Director Jeff Wadecamper says they've been in regular discussions with airlines over the last few years, trying to bring in new service. He says American showed renewed interest just as a small community air service grant opened for applications. Passenger numbers in Helena were down significantly last year due to the pandemic, but Wadecamper is hopeful airlines will take another look at the airport as they scale service back up.
As the airlines start looking at how do we go forward as the economy recovers and as the air travel industry recovers, where are the opportunities, what can we do differently, more efficiently?
The airport is now seeking pledges of financial support from the community. As part of the application, they need an incentive package to cover some of the startup costs for a new flight. They're trying to raise $100,000 in cash and $50,000 in marketing support. Wadecamper says that's less than they've secured for previous applications, but it's a different situation now as local businesses have also been strained by COVID.
We're trying to balance what's reasonable in this time frame, but we've had good response so far.
Wadecamper says if they're successful, likely the earliest the new flight could start would be the end of 2021, and perhaps more likely the start of 2022. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Last year, the airport completed a major expansion project at the terminal, and Wadecamper says the added space and jet bridges will be helpful as they try to attract some new flights. Well, when we come back, Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz will have a complete look of your forecast. And later, what impact could the pending Senate impeachment trial have on the next round of COVID relief?
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
All right, welcome back, everybody. A lot of us having to do a little cleanup outside today. Great Divide had to do a little cleanup. Yesterday, they suspended lift operations. Smart idea because of the wind, but people getting out on the slopes once again today. Showdown was closed, though, today because of power outages. Check their social media if you want to see if they're going to open up tomorrow. I'm waiting for a little bit of some information. Also, Whitefish was closed. Lookout Pass was closed. Boy, a lot of the state affected by that brutal wind that came through. Great Falls, 30 degrees and only a 6-mile-per-hour wind. It's a beautiful thing. In Helena, 35 degrees, still a little breezy today. Some gusts up over 20-25 miles per hour, 14 miles per hour wind right now. 20s and 30s, certainly a cooler wind today. Glasgow, 32 degrees. Winds really strong still in eastern Montana, where we're under that high wind warning until midnight tonight. The wind gusts, all right, 45 miles per hour. That's even coming down for Glasgow. We don't really have any significant gusts central and western Montana. That's why nothing's really populated there. But look at that. Nice wind easing down here tonight. Yes, the wind builds for the Rocky Mountain fronts around the East Glacier area. And, you know, tomorrow will be a breezy afternoon and evening with a little front that will be going through. Some wind also on Saturday, but really the worst of the wind, fortunately, is behind us here. Should be just a little on the breezy side Saturday and Sunday. Hardly anything on the radar. Of course, last night in a few little spotty areas we had some snow come through. Our big windstorm moving through the Midwest here with a high wind warning that extends from eastern Montana all the way down into northern Texas, and this red from southwestern Minnesota, eastern South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa, even northwestern Missouri. That's a blizzard warning. Not a lot of snow, but wind blowing the snow around, reducing the visibility. So here for Montana, tonight, a pretty night. I'm going to call it a pretty winter's night because of mainly clear skies and the wind dying down in the eastern part of the state. Heading into tomorrow, maybe a little sun early, but yeah, there's that little system, a little disturbance working through the western and central part of the state in the afternoon and the evening. A couple of mixed rain and snow showers in the lower elevations and some snow showers into the higher terrain. That moves out here by the time we get into Friday night, and Saturday looking like a pretty nice day. Mostly sunny skies for most of the state. That won't be the case though for Sunday. Snowfall with that little system coming through tomorrow, mainly in the mountains and mainly an inch or two in that higher terrain. Here's the forecast for tonight. A little breezy up there around Browning, but no 70, 80, 90 mile per hour gusts. Colder night tonight than last night here. Opime down to 13 degrees. Central Montana teens and 20s. And again, a nice starry night here for most of the state. And for tomorrow, increasing clouds, maybe a couple of mixed rain and snow showers for Great Falls and Fort Benton and Cascade later into the afternoon. Some sun early, clouds increasing in north central and northeast Montana later in the day. Lewistown almost near 50 tomorrow, a little on the breezy side. Tomorrow evening, a few snow showers in Lewistown, and later into the afternoon, a couple of snow showers, especially into the higher terrain along the Continental Divide, the big belts, the little belts, picking up some snow for tomorrow. Here's the 7-day forecast for Helena. And oh yeah, thanks to Rita for bringing me some flowers to put into my basket yesterday. I didn't want to put them in yesterday because I thought that they'd blow away. But Helena, 7-day forecast, late Sunday, some snow showers coming in. A little more of a wintry day on Monday, maybe 1 to 3 inches of snow in Helena. Some snow moving in Tuesday into Wednesday and later Thursday into Friday. That's when the temperatures really start to drop. Great Falls, a little breezy the next few days. Snow likely Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and then turning much colder late next week.
With less than a week left in office, President Donald Trump is staring down the prospect of a second Senate impeachment trial, this time with fewer allies to mount a defense and with the trial expected to begin after he's already left the White House. Democrats say they're looking beyond removal to uphold the Constitution. The president's supporters slamming the idea of an ex-president's impeachment trial. But unlike the last impeachment, 10 House Republicans broke ranks to vote against President Trump.
So that you don't have some future president thinking they can do whatever the hell they want, tell a lie, a falsehood over and over again about the election, and then get away with inciting a mob.
It will divide the country. It will incite violence.
United States Senate.
In the Senate, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is one of a handful of Senate Republicans who've said they would consider voting against President Trump. It would take 17 GOP votes to seal the first impeachment conviction of an American president. The earliest the Senate could begin an impeachment trial is next Tuesday, the day before President-elect Biden's inauguration. And President-elect Biden is expected to reveal tonight plans for another round of economic relief once he takes office. The proposal is expected to include another round of stimulus checks, economic aid to businesses, and help for local governments. But could your next stimulus check be delayed because of the upcoming impeachment trial? Our Joe St. George explains from Capitol Hill.
President-elect Biden on paper could pass another stimulus check bill by the end of the month. Have it in your account by early February. He has the votes, but passing any economic legislation takes some time, and an impeachment trial, well, takes time. Right now, Senator Mitch McConnell has indicated January 19th would be the earliest an impeachment trial could begin. President-elect Biden takes the oath of office on the 20th. Here's a look at the length of recent Senate impeachment trials. President Trump's 2020 trial lasted 21 days. President Clinton's 1999 trial, 37 days. There's no telling how long President Trump's latest impeachment trial will take, but it will likely be several weeks. After all, the president will have the right to defend himself. While President-elect Biden has the votes to pass another stimulus check economic relief bill with only Democrats and limited debate, Democrats on Capitol Hill are already indicating they want to negotiate some details. After all, after 4 years, they now have power. Stimulus negotiations, the country knows by now, requires time. And President-elect Biden has hinted he would like the Senate to do both at the same time, not spending all day just on impeachment.
Can you go half day on dealing with the impeachment and half day getting my people nominated and confirmed in the Senate?
So while another stimulus check is likely on the way, what's unclear is how fast it will arrive. It will likely run into some delays with this Senate impeachment trial. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
And Governor Gianforte announced today that 150 Army National Guard soldiers are being deployed to the nation's capital for the upcoming presidential inauguration. The Montana Guard will support the Washington, D.C. National Guard and federal law enforcement agencies. Soldiers from around the state are being activated, including the 484th Military Police Company located in Billings, Malta, Glasgow, and the 143rd Military Police Company located in Lewistown, and headquarters companies of the 163rd Combined Arms Battalion located in Belgrade. And coming up next on the News at 5, a preview of tonight's crosstown matchup in Great Falls.
Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 5.
Welcome back, everyone. Tonight's sub-varsity crosstown boys basketball games were postponed due to the COVID and COVID-related issues, but the varsity contest will still tip off tonight at 7 o'clock. Tom Wiley has more on what to expect from the matchup.
Crosstown matchups certainly don't have the same atmosphere in 2021 with limited fans and social distancing enforced, but that doesn't mean that the games are any less competitive as the Bison and Rustler boys meet for the first time this season tonight. Both teams fostering hopes of a deep postseason run on the wide-open Class AA field. The Bison, 2-0 on the year, they have championship aspirations behind an experienced starting lineup that hasn't lost a step in this new, unusual season.
People might think we overachieved last year a little bit, but we had a pretty solid core, and we're very competitive day in and day out, and you know where that's going to carry over. We have some guys that played a lot of basketball last year. Got some new kids coming up, so we're pretty happy.
CMR has split their two games this year, rolling over Belgrade, falling to Billings Senior in overtime. The Rustlers, on the other hand, are relatively inexperienced compared to their rivals, but they are improving every week.
Most of these kids were on the JV team last year too, so they played JV ball, they played a little bit of varsity action, so they understand what we want to do. I think that's why we got a pretty decent ceiling, because I think early on, you know, we might struggle early, but I think as we keep playing and as we compete, I think we're going to be a better team by the end of the year.
The Great Falls High boys have won 5 straight in this rivalry and hope to make it a crosstown sweep this week after the Bison girls top CMR on Tuesday. We'll have highlights for you in sports at 10. Reporting from Great Falls, Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
Thanks, Tom. Attendance is limited to 2 spectators per athlete in uniform, but you can watch the game on the NFHS network. And we'll wrap things up here when we come back. But first, here's a look at what's coming up on the nightly news.
When we welcome our West Coast viewers as Washington finds itself under a spreading blanket of security, more warnings from the FBI about potential plots by extremists to strike elsewhere. Also, too easily overlooked. We'll shine a light on the elderly going hungry on NBC Nightly News.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 5.
Thank you for making us a part of your evening tonight. Remember, you can catch us right back here at 6 o'clock and then once again at 10. NBC Nightly News is next.